Hello, friends, and welcome back. I'm Anna Prosser Robinson, and you are here at the HyperX D2L Season 5 World Finals. As FNG just said, these guys could play Dota all day, and that's just what they've done today and yesterday. Teams from all over the world, the top 4, in fact, have been here battling it out for their share of $50,000. And we've ended up here in the grand finals with one team from the Eastern Division and one team from the Western Division, and they are ready for a best of 5 for your entertainment. We're going to chat with their captains before we let them play. Let's bring them on up. Cheer for your captains, guys. Come on up, FNG and Inflame. You guys have got some very excited fans. That's nice. Now, Inflame, I heard that you guys are very well rested. What have you done today while you got to wait while these guys over here played a couple matches?
我听说你们今天休息得很好，在他们打上一盘的时候，你们在做些什么？
睡觉。
Sleep.
They slept. All right. That's a good strategy. Now, you guys have been keeping yourselves fresh, playing lots of games. We just spoke to you. You are coming into this best of 5 one game down. They are going to have the advantage over you. They've got one win already there. So what are you going to do to make sure that you don't let that keep you from winning the whole thing?
Play Dota.
Oh.
Nothing special, just play Dota.
Okay, just keeping, all right, sounds good, sounds good. Now, you know, traditionally, the Eastern Division is sometimes considered to be the more competitive division. So are you guys feeling very, very confident going up against these guys, feeling like the Eastern Division is going to give you that edge?
传统来说，就是从东方地区出来的队伍会比较有争议性。你对他们有信心吗？
不懂哎，不懂哎。
对战他们有信心吗？
啊？
打他们有没有信心？
我们打应该还是主要以有练习的为主吧，然后我们会打我们自己平常训练喜欢玩的东西，没有考虑过这个。
Well, he doesn't really know, because then their main focus here is just to learn, and they'll do what they normally do in scrims and try their best.
That's fantastic. You guys have got some really humble attitudes, these guys. Now, because you guys are so, you know, you're not willing to trash talk, let's have you talk yourselves up a little bit, okay? So what really makes your team special? What should we look for? What is the characteristic of your team in the grand finals? What is Virtus Pro Polar going to show us?
Jimmy Ho.
Jimmy Ho. All right. And for you guys, LV, what is maybe the one word or phrase that sums up who you're going to be in this grand final? Who should we look for?
能不能说一句为自己打气的话？
开心就好，开心就好。
Let's be happy.
Be happy, okay. Jimmy Ho and happy. That's what we're looking for, okay? Now, one last thing. You guys have got some really rowdy, nice fans who are here. They've been watching you throughout the week, or the weekend. Is there anything that you want to say to them, particularly as they cheer for you through this grand final?
Thank you for supporting. I really appreciate it then, and everyone, like, when you are playing Dota at any tournament, like Star Ladder or tournament in China, you're really like trying to concentrate on the game, but you're always here when you're like under pressure or under supporting.
All right, can you guys do that? Yeah. All right, and same question to you. What should your fans do to support you? How can they cheer for you, and what message do you have for them?
你有什么想对粉丝说的话吗？
我想我们应该会跟 最开始的会有一些变化，但我们会坚持我们自己所需要，我们会坚持我们自己的东西。谢谢你们的支持。
Even though we had some changes, we'll continue to pursue what we've been trying to get, and thank you.
All right, guys, thank you very much from all of us at D2L and from these guys. Guys, go ahead and shake hands. We'll let you play Dota because we know that's what you are best at. And now, it's time to throw you back to your casters, AC, and of course, there's some other guy. I think you guys like him. What was his name? The other caster? What was his name? All right, AC and Trelf, take it away.
Yeah, the Trout fanboys in the house, and it sounds like FNG may be trailing close behind you in terms of crowd enthusiasm. It's grand finals time here at the D2L Season 5. Our run here in Las Vegas about to reach its conclusion. 2 of our 4 teams have seen their runs end as well, and one of these 2 teams, of course, going home with the trophy, but one a little smaller and a paycheck a little smaller than. We've got LV squaring off against VP in a rematch of a series we already saw once today. That series very competitive, very close, and both of these teams have had time to watch each other, had time to adapt, had time to form their game plans. And let's take a look at what these rosters are composed of, as if you're not familiar already. LV coming out of the Eastern Division 6-1 overall. Really, they've been a story, especially with how well they've managed to slide Ohio and Mushi on into their game plan.
Yeah, and they seem to be taking this tournament much more seriously than the other teams. I've actually popped in a number of times into the players' lounge, and their coach has been, really drilling in. I don't know some strategies. Of course, I don't know the language, so it's hard for me to discern what's going on. But nonetheless, I know that they're taking this very seriously. They're really, I think, planning out some drafts and just really want to play their best, as we've heard InFlame say in the previous interviews. Yeah,
their path through this tournament took them through both Western teams. They downed EG on day 1, got past VP, and they've had the shortest run pretty much of anyone in the tournament thus far. VP, well, they've had a long day. This is going to be series number 3, a best of 5. With LV coming in with a 1-game advantage. And they're here via serendipity, basically. Empire was unable to make it, even though they were the 2nd place finishers in our regular season. Had some visa issues, snagged them up. And Polar, they should send a thank you note to the consulate office or whatever jerk officer happened to stamp the denial there, as they've done well here. Again, it's been a long path for them and a damn long day. But with Demon sliding in for Lil, who also was unable to join us, they have really managed to make this all work. And it's just been entertaining to watch in the extreme. Illidan, by the way, gets my vote for overall MVP of the tournament, at least based on his performance thus far.
I completely agree with that. I think he's been playing phenomenally. We can see him right there, and just playing those carry heroes and farming more than anyone really does. I mean, we saw that. It's one of, it's got to be some kind of record. Just the 100 CS at 10 minutes was fantastic. He took over with the bristleback of all heroes. It doesn't seem like your quintessential carry, but made it into one. And it was just very impressive stuff. So I agree, especially on the notion that Illidan's been playing fantastically.
Also took it back to the old school with the Chaos Knight, making that showing how that hero shines, given adequate farm and adequate time to level himself. Again, grand finals time, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in throughout the day, throughout the last couple of days, as we're going to move into the draft for what is going to be our final match of Season 5 of the D2L. VP opens up with a Juggernaut and a Puck. LV going to keep it simple. Ancient Apparition and the Ember Spirit.
They really like the Ancient Apparition. They actually picked it first overall. It's not even their first set of picks. Overall,
they had first pick.
Yeah, exactly. And they really value this. DDC's been playing him fantastically. In a previous matchup where we saw it was like anti-mage and a lot of heroes. I mean, Anti-Apparition has no way to get away. He has no escape mechanism. He's very, very squishy. He's really slow and clunky. You don't normally build movement items onto him. You get the Force Staff, that's about it. You're not building a blink or anything like that. And it's just very difficult to actually be in a position where you don't die and feed a lot. But DDC was very good with his movements, very good with his farm, too. He just always seems to be very farmed. And on top of all of that, just the Ice Blasts were always on point.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, the Ancient Apparition has been a hero that's really seen a lot of popularity throughout the entire tournament. Seen him get a lot of attention pick and ban-wise. There have been a couple of series where he slid through completely ignored. But for the most part, as you said, his early potential early on, just to make things happen in the laning phase, being able to roam, being able to put Chilling Touch to good use, certainly there. If you have any kind of a good lead-up, be it a Venge Stun, be it, and Venge is banned this time around, but anything you can combo with the Cold Feed, he works well there. And, of course, the value of Ice Blast, especially, and, it strikes me that this current, if there's one thing I can hone in on that really is defining this current meta, the way the game's being played right now, it is how difficult it is to go high ground. It's why the games seem to go longer and longer and longer. Teams are realizing, and teams are also drafting to make sure that they either have a great ability to go high ground or they have defensiveness if they do happen to find themselves behind. And Ancient Apparition is actually phenomenal in that regard on both sides of the coin. One reason why I believe he has seen such a surge of popularity here in this event, but also elsewhere. So VP gonna keep it easy themselves, going to Illidan and his favorite hero, or at least one of them, no doubt about it, the Anti-Mage.
It's so crazy because you mentioned that, and it just hit me. We haven't seen like any Elder Titan at all, have we?
No, we actually haven't.
Which
We
is-
talked extensively about that too.
Which is crazy because one of the best, if not the best, hero at defending in the high ground with the spirit, the stomp, everything. God, that's so weird to me.
And he actually fits in with what we've been seeing out of a few teams as well. These minus armor strats, he fits right in with that too.
Man, I need to talk to some of the captains, and maybe they're just forgetting about him. Maybe they don't value him very highly. But that hero's a beast, man. I don't care what you say. That hero is so good in almost any situation, just because of the counter pushing. Or sorry, yeah, the counter pushing. You cannot push high ground into that unless you completely wipe out their team or something like that.
Yep.
And the great thing, well, I could go on and on, but we'll have to wait until maybe someone
until
actually
it's
picks
relevant.
us. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to waste my breath.
Well, there's going to be a Nyx Assassin pickup for Virtus Pro. I would imagine this is going to be an off-lane mag Nyx. Maybe not, but my first experience with getting the no mag, whenever he was really beginning to build that name for himself, that he is recognized as a phenomenal off-lane player. He was playing Nyx Assassin at a point in the meta when Nyx was one of the top picks for an off-lane position, and he is so good at playing it in the off-lane position. So maybe bringing him back to something I've seen, and most anyone who keeps up with Western Dota has seen him be not only comfortable but very successful with in the past.
Well, it's a great hero against the Bat Rider too. Like that was what he was primarily picked up against when Bat Rider was very popular. You can literally just buy a blink, see the Firefly, blink into it with your Carapace on. You stun him for a good duration, and then you just follow up after that.
What about Flame Guard as well?
Yeah, Flame Guard as well. You can blink, yeah, exactly, right on top of the hero. It stuns him. Of course, you're not going to do too much damage, but you will at least lock him down for the time being.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a good point as well.
Speaking of lockdown, they are lacking a little bit in that regard. They do have the Impale, but Nyx Assassin, of course, it's hit and miss, both figuratively and literally. Rubik's going to be picked up. Rubik is actually a really good pickup. Great spells from Jugger Puck and Nyx Assassin in particular, and there's nothing more obnoxious than a Rubik who manages to steal Anti-Mage's Blink as well.
Yeah, especially if Quap ever gets drafted, the Blink range on Quap's new Blink after they just buffed it is so good. But it's very easy on Anti-Mage because that's literally his only spell other than his ulti. And his ulti is only cast once every, 80 seconds or something like that?
At most.
70 seconds, yeah. So, yeah, you're never really going to get the ultimate. You're always going to get the Blink. So it's a very, very easy steal.
Very easy to get Carapace. Impale's actually really, really good on Rubik as well, for the same reason that spells like Fissure and so on are. There's no wind-up. It's just so much better on that hero compared to on the home hero. And also, Blade Fury's pretty solid in hell, even Healing Ward. Even if you don't get lucky, don't get Omni Slash, don't get your Blade Fury, grabbing Healing Ward can actually turn a fight as well if you can take out Jug's Healing Ward and then keep your own up for a little bit longer. So very interesting drafts coming out of both sides. We're moving into 5th position so far. And LV looks like, assuming the Ember Spirit going mid, Bat Rider off, looks like they're looking for their one position now, a hero for ZYF.
Yep. Yeah, they have options here. They could run one position Ember Spirit. I've seen them do it before, but
for sure.
We'll have to wait and see what they prioritize and what they want to do. I do like the Rubik and AA pairing. It's just, I've said this so many times, there's just some stigma about Rubik, how he's not good because he doesn't deal good damage, but it's one of my favorite heroes to play in the entire game. He's just very fun. I just think he's a fun hero. But yeah, as you mentioned, Juggernaut, he can't ever really spin on Rubik because if his spell steal is off cooldown, he just steals it and spins right on top of him.
Yep.
And they just don't do any damage to each other. So yeah, there's some really good spells, as you mentioned, that Rubik can steal this game.
Well, and just to come back around to what you were talking about with the AA and the Rubik, I agree with you. I think, he's not the most aggressive hero, but he can be played aggressively if he has a nice tandem with him. Whenever you're talking about the value of Searing Chains, the ability to combo, Cold Feet, for example, off of a telekinesis, if you're able to pull someone so far out of position that they really only have one exit path, and they have to walk back over the point where they were hit with Cold Feet, it's a guaranteed proc, and Searing Chains to follow. There is kill potential in a lane like that, assuming, well, I shouldn't say assuming, but just exploring the option of a one position Ember Spirit. We still don't know if that's going to be where they want to go with it. But yeah, great spells to steal. Fade Bolt, I think, is underestimated in a lot of cases. It's decent counter push. It's really nice whenever you're dealing with a push to just walk up, grab the creeps, pull them back behind the tower, make it a little bit more chancy for anyone to come onto you and to continue to engage on that tower. So yeah, Rubik, a situational hero that I think maybe is suitable for more situations that he's given credit for.
Yeah, I could easily agree with that. I think he's very, very good in most aspects. He's just a fair and balanced hero, honestly. But yeah, no, and even the combination of just AA with the Chilling Touch onto a Rubik. Again, I've said this before, but you don't think of telekinesis as a damage spell because it's not. It doesn't do damage. But it essentially adds more damage to the engagement because it not only lifts them up and disables them for a second, but when you pull them back, it means more auto attacks.
Right.
And with the chilling touch, what does that mean? More damage from that, which is 50 damage for each extra auto attack onto whatever amount of heroes are in that little vicinity. So it's actually, in that sense, a damage spell. Disruptor picked up here for Polar to round it out here. So that is going to be yet again a support Juggernaut, which did work out in the last game against EG.
Yeah, the Disruptor adds a great amount of control. It's actually a fairly good counter to Bad Rider. It can really turn a fight in terms of dealing with an Ember Spirit as well if you're able to lock him down. And now it kind of limits what LV wants to do as well. They're going to go with the Terror Blade. So we actually haven't seen Terror Blade played at all throughout our LAN. And it's a hero we saw played immensely throughout the regular season. So he's going to be back to draw upon. And this is going to be something VP is going to have to make sure they focus down. Although, in fairness, the way they play, how much Illidan loves to farm, and how comfortable VP tends to be in just giving him all the room and all the time in the world to farm to his heart's content, they may be happy to take it late game. What I want to see is what the build's going to be from the Terror Blade. Is it going to be a Radiance? Is it going to be played Naga style? Or are we going to see it end up being more of a early game carry that can come out and do damage?
Well, when we saw in the regular season, a lot of the Chinese teams were running in mid, for example, like DK, who didn't do too well in the Eastern scene, but they did. It was CTY. He was a very good mid player for DK, and he would always run Terror Blade, and he would get like Treads, Yasha, Radiance. And I remember I was very skeptical at first. I know most people in the Western scene hate Radiance on Terror Blade, but the Chinese, I'm telling you, man, they made it work. So I'm not saying that's 100% what he's going to do, but I know that if he does, he knows what he's doing. And this is the hero that he started playing in the Eastern scene that really made me catch my eye on this player in particular, ZYF. He played a lot of Terror Blade. And so I'm very curious to see how he plays this and how strong it is going to be in this draft in general.
A little bit of a surprise already out the gate, as Mag is not going to be playing on the Nyx. Instead, he's going to be taking the Juggernaut out into the off lane. At least it would appear that that's the case. He's gone Boots, Tangos, and to Clarity. So he'll be moving out there on his own. DK Phobos setting up shop on the mid puck. Demon and Illidan, as well as FNG on the support Nyx assassin up here. Support Nyx is so hit and miss with me. I mean, he can give you value regardless, but it does help a lot if he's given a little bit of experience priority. Is probably the best way to put it. Just make sure he gets his 6 at a decent clip. Don't make him sit back in the jungle and just stack and pull. If you can give him any time in lane, it's usually beneficial to your team as a whole, and it changes the way that the enemy team has to play. They have to account for what could be an invis Nyx around every corner. Horn blows. And there's the bounties. We're underway. Game 1 of our grand finals here at D2L Season 5 as LV and Polar are facing off in our championship. On the other side, as I did run through Polar, how about we take a look at LV? They're going to have Ohio out in the offlane on the bat. No surprise there. It's going to be Mushi playing on the Ember Spirit there in mid. In Flames on the support position. He's going to be on the Rubik, with ZYF farming up our Terror Blade, and DDC handling the Ancient Apparition here against Mag out in the offlane.
You know, I've talked about how Illidan is one of the few players, and there is the Firefly, an early stun, not on the mark from FNG. Very unfortunate, but I don't think they get the kill anyway. Well, actually, they maybe do, because that was a mana break leveled up onto Illidan. What's the duration of the stun at level 1? 1.27. That's actually not too bad, but could have been close. Anyway, like I was saying before, Illidan, one of the few anti-mage players that actually buys a Quelling Blade early, and I thought he'd just bought it like after a few minutes, but no, he's just gone straight to the lane with a Quelling Blade, which I've talked at great length about how it really secures all these last hits, because sometimes the creeps are under your tower, you get in these awkward situations where you have to drop some items and time everything perfectly. It just makes it a whole hell of a lot easier, and you're going to buy it anyway, so why not?
Playing very aggressive in the face of this Bad Rider, trying to make him burn his regen, hoping they can prevent level 2. Doesn't matter, he finds it. At level 2, it's very easy to begin getting active in the jungle, so even though he's going to be a little worse for wear using his last Tango, we are going to see him make his way across the map and down into his friendly jungle now. Let's talk about this friendly match, or this mid matchup, I should say. It's going to be Phobos again against Mushi. Puck versus the Ember Spirit. And want to make sure, yeah, this is just a little bit of trading in the paint. Actually, decent amount of experience picked up by Mag. He's level 2.5 and is going to go ahead and pre-scout the bottom rune. But let's talk about this mid matchup. What do you think between the players and the heroes?
Well, this is kind of like the new matchup. We see, you know, Puck versus Quap all the time as what's an even matchup. I think this is a pretty even matchup. It comes down to skill. I think Ember has a lot of potential to kill the Puck just because of how good Searing Chase is against the phase shift. Like if he uses an orb aggressively and he's not at full HP, and then you come up with the Ember Spirit with a Searing Chains, you can very easily can die. At the same time, though, a lot of auto attack damage is there with the Puck. He's hitting it for 67 damage right now. So if you just kind of forget the fact that, yes, your magic damage can get mitigated by the shield, just pump in auto attacks. It can go both ways. It just kind of comes down to play, in my opinion.
Well, Demon not quite level 2. If he had Glimpse there, they may have killed Mushi, but of course, if pigs had wings, they'd be eagles. And now there's going to be Searing Chains. Little RNG love that time. DK Phobos gets off the Waning Rift. Don't think it's going to matter. And first blood drawn by Mushi as he went for the Searing Chains. And to quote you, got him.
Yep, there was 3 units there. He got him. So I think a very, very nice play by the both of them. Just the second in the range of that Rubik lift, and nice capitalization from Inflame, who picks up a smoke. Can maybe do the same thing, honestly, if he does an aggressive orb like that again.
Yeah, he's going to hang. He's level 3 or very nearly level 3 off of that. Back in the jungle, FNG and Demon are splitting a little bit of experience, just going to work in the jungle. Mag's going to be zoned out a bit. He is going to hit level 3 after all. And want to see where his points go. 2 points in the Blade Fury. Is he going Blade Fury stats? Is this a man after your own heart?
It is, man. I mean, he's been listening. I think this is great. I still think that a value point into Blade Dance is so good. Just even trading auto attacks, if you get that crit, it makes a huge difference, actually. So I'd like to see him get 1 point into that. Maybe 1 point into his healing ward. But I do like the Blade Fury, man. Just the lower cooldown makes a huge difference in the mid game. It really does. But I'm wondering if LV picked a Terrorblade to do this kind of similar strat, because Lycan was banned out every single time after they displayed an amazing strategy against Evil Geniuses. Maybe they do the same thing. Maybe around like level 5, Terrorblade just ducks into the jungle, gives the AA all the free farm he wants to get a free level 6. We'll see.
And Phobos once again caught with Searing Chains here in mid, takes a little right-click damage. 4-minute runes are up. It's going to be an invis at bottom. Didn't see who got, I think it was the bat that got the bounty, so he's continuing to do well. He's level 4.5, has yet to really go to work in the jungle, but does have his Trank, so he's free to do so whenever he pleases. This invis is going to be put to use against Phobos, and they're just going to wait for him to get aggressive. He's almost level 6, though.
Yep, any orb forward, and he's pretty much dead. They know that FNG's around, but he's only providing like mental support. He can't actually really do that much. So as long, oh, there is an aggressive, yeah, he could die here.
There it is. There's a lift, Searing Chains, got him with that. Fade Bolt, Waning Rift, and phase shift only buys a little time, as once again they drop Puck in mid. At bottom, Mag taking a little harass, but yeah, LV going to be real happy with the way this early mid lane is going. In fact, they've built this up with the first blood and just general efficiency up to about a 1,500 gold and experience lead.
And that one sucks, just because there's really no way he could have expected that. They don't have vision of the Rune bottom.
Impale catches Ohio. He's got Firefly fresh off cooldown, and we'll be able to make it away because of it.
No glimpse mana. I don't think they had vision of him anyway, because it is nighttime, and that is not. No, actually, it is their ward. He was actually walking right on top of it.
Yep.
So it would have been close with the cast range. And yep, Juggernaut gets taken out from the Terrorblade. That damage is real, man.
Got down there just in time to catch his death animation. 3-0.
Yep, very good start. On an even keel is this Terrorblade, and again, they can just push his tower. He can go to the jungle. It's a really good strategy whenever you have a support that can benefit nicely from the solo levels and solo farm. And AA is definitely one of those. I'm kind of surprised actually he hasn't even ducked in there yet. He's actually walking in there now. And so we'll see if they continue to do this strat that's worked so well for them.
3-0, 6 minutes in. 6-minute rune pops. Phobos will get himself a bounty. And that's going to be a double damage picked up by Mushi. So need to be careful here in mid. FNG is getting a little bit of time in lane, getting himself to level 3 now. Still pretty slow. And they need to catch him up. They really, really do. I mean, for a number of reasons. His abilities just scale much better with levels. Impale, I mean, level 2 Impale is considerably better than level 1, both damage and stun-wise, but you really need to get that maxed if you're intending to use that as any kind of valuable lockdown. You certainly want Vendetta up as soon as possible as well. And right now, I feel like LV's just kind of running the game. They are 100% in control of their destiny. Illidan is even being out-farmed, just barely, but still out-farmed by the Terrorblade.
Yep, he's got a couple of neutral creeps under his belt, but The biggest thing is the rotations to mid. It was just very, very easy for them. That's another thing about Rubik is the instant cast stun, basically, onto an elusive hero like Puck. So nice movement from Inflame, and he's got someone's bracer. He's actually picked up Mushi's bracer, brought it to him after he TPs.
Yep. See, Mag getting a nice amount of experience here. He will get his level 6 off of this, most likely. If not 100% level 6, it'll be close. About 5.5. Yeah, I think he should get it. Very, very close. Anyway, what adaptation do you think VP needs to make right now? I mean, they need to change something. The status quo is not going their way.
They need to fight with a Puck ulti, and they should probably fight when the Juggernaut gets his ulti as well. But the only problem is he only has 1 in the stats. I don't think at level 6 he'll get enough int gain to actually have both his Omni Slash and his spin, which is really unfortunate. He needs either 1 more stat point, or he needs like a Wraith Band or any kind of stat item to help him out. So he needs to get active once he gets 6. He's almost there. And Puck just needs to get active as well. He is level 7 now, so obviously you're not going to have any fighting coming with the Anti-Mage. You just want him to farm. So, and that's the one bad thing about Anti-Mage, whereas Terrorblade can actually get kills and pressure heroes.
And we're actually going to see Phobos robbed of a rune there. As Mushi caught him with Searing Chains, he's going to try to run nonetheless. And VP beginning to move their supports around a bit more. Jimmy is level 3, has yet to place his 3rd point. Doesn't know if he wants it in a kinetic field or if he wants to buff up one of the other abilities. Down at bottom, this tier 1 is going to drop in a hurry. Not even going to use the glyph. Not even sure why.
Yeah, that's kind of strange, actually. You get a free one, basically.
Yep, exactly.
Maybe just weren't really looking or paying attention, but yeah, the difference of the farm for the offlaner, too. Like Batrider, he's level 7. Joggy's not even level 6 yet. Batrider's got Tranquils and still is only about 400 or 450 gold away from that Blink Dagger. So great farm for Ohio. Still able to create a little bit of pressure in the lane to make the support stay top. And really, it's actually been the supports this game who usually shine for VP Polar, but I feel like they haven't really done anything this game.
Well, VP just tried a little trickeration. They smoked 3 up the top and were hoping to catch someone, be it Ohio or someone else, coming out to push the lane and try to get into the face of Illidan, and no one was home, so that's a lot of wasted time. They end up sending FNG to bottom. He goes all the way to bottom. Now he walks all the way back to mid, and we do have a smoke coming out of LV as well. They're hanging around mid and circling stuff and pinging stuff. Knew they wanted to try to make something happen. They've got Mushi out front, and they may have a chance to catch Mag here. He is level 6, so he has Omni Slash. And let's see if they're believers. Coming from behind, that's going to be Phobos.
Ooh, look at that A ulti.
Oh, didn't get him. And Phobos going to get eyes on him. Only a 1-man coil. Here comes Mushi, though. And Phobos, once again, is going to take a spill. As this is not his game. He is slowed down. He is hurting. His lane is lost. And he is lost amongst the trees as well. 0-3 to start the first 10 minutes of this game for him.
Mushi has phase and his drums, of course, ready as well. Terrorblade's just doing his thing. He's got the Yasha. Now I'm curious to see if he wants to go for the standard, quote, Western build of just going into the Manta into Scotty, or the more Eastern build like we've seen, like we mentioned with the Radiance. But either or, it doesn't really matter. The problem is this Ember is so far ahead of this Puck.
And really no signs of abating either. 3 of the top 4 farmers in net worth, all belonging to LV. And it's a pretty big drop-off. Even the Bat is 1,000 gold above Puck at this point. Level 7 for him. What level is Puck? Yeah, level 7 for Puck, level 8 for the Bat. So a full level ahead of the mid. And he was a solo off-lane Bat who's just kind of gone in and out from top lane to the jungle. They're going to try to gank Illidan here. Bat shows off the blink. They better have the damage. And they got it. Well played. Well played, and couldn't ask for a better setup.
And it was DDC who actually gets the kill, so he gets the experience. He's level 7, and he's on his way. It looks like he's probably going to go for a Midas again, which in this game, I think is totally fine. You are in the driver's seat. Nothing is going really correctly for VP Polar. The off lane is kind of weird with the Juggernaut. They didn't get too much out of him. He's got 15 CS and phase boots, but the supports, I'm telling you, man, usually Demon and FNG have had some good synergy, but this game they just have got nothing done.
And like you said, they have been kind of aimless. They've wandered around, they've tried to make things happen, but either through bad luck or just through good foresight and good game sense out of LV, the openings haven't been there like they have been throughout the rest of the tournament against other teams. They just have not been at all.
Yeah, and to be fair, it does hurt you, like you were mentioning, that You know, support Nyx isn't exactly the best roamer, isn't exactly the best laner. You can't really zone out
He's not even
that
4
well.
yet. He's still level 3.
And I think that's pretty much the primary concern here for VP Polar, or at least the biggest problem anyway. I thought with it, they do get a stun actually onto. Oh no! The ulti comes
whips
out.
on the coil. Mushi's got to run. They're teleporting a lot in. They've got Demon here ready to glimpse him if needs be, and they will. And into the static storm. So this should, be a kill. They needed it, but damn if they didn't invest a lot into it. That's a whole team.
Yeah, everything in the kitchen sink literally thrown it in. Like the ultimate from Jug, which didn't do anything. The coil missed. A lot of time used, and I don't know if it was necessarily a good thing for VP Polar that they killed him. Obviously, they want him to want to slow down his farm, but man, you got another problem. That's a Terrorblade who almost has a Manta at just 13 minutes in.
Exactly what I was thinking, man. And when you look at Illidan, you know, it's hard to believe, but based on the standards that he set in previous games, for it to be 13 minutes and him not to have a Battle Fury is kind of shocking. At least it feels that way. So, I mean, he's still on good clip. It's not as if he's hurting. Overall CS, he's actually ahead 103 at 13 minutes, 101 for ZYF. But this Terrorblade, and this is such an astute point for you to make, he can get active. Like, he's going with a fighting build, so he most likely will. Not going with that Radiance kind of take over the map, Naga Sirens-like approach. And Illidan's going to be caught in this no man's land where he wants to farm, but he has no other item outside of his treads and his Battle Fury. His team's going to need him because they don't have a whole lot of combat potential. They're a little under-leveled. DK Phobos is just abysmally hungry. Has no chance at a Blink Dagger in the next 60 seconds or so. This is what they need to do right here. They have to smoke and try to get back some of that advantage this way.
Yep, and there's that Midas up for DDC. I think it actually is a little bit more appropriate this game, just given how far ahead they are. And actually, I want to look at the graph. Yeah, it's about 5,000 experience, and as far as net worth, 7,500. My God.
Piles up quick, man. It really does. Unfortunately for VP, once again, a smoke with no one home. And I don't know if it's just again, you're much more qualified to discuss that point than I am. Do you just get bad luck sometimes? Do you misread the map and smoke when you assume they're somewhere and they're not? Like, what do you think's happening to the point that they're wasting so many smokes and getting nothing for them?
I think you just have to not lie to yourself and just, sometimes you can get in this mode like, oh God, nothing's happening. All right, let's be active. Let's go smoke and find something. But you actually have to just look at the map and ask yourself realistically, if we smoke now, where are we going to go? Like, you have to exactly have in your head specifically what are we going to do? And if you don't have that question to be answered, you're just going to run around and not find anything. You might find something if you're lucky, but most of the time you're not going to.
And this tower not lasting long as ZYF with that Metaform melted down the tier 1 and goodbye tier 2. Nice attempt at the deny from Demon, but just a little off on the attack animation. Mag still trying to find some relevancy as well. He did okay in the off lane so far as not necessarily gold, but at least he got his levels. But since then, we have not seen a whole lot out of him either. LV's just moving, playing, executing on a different level than we've seen them even play throughout this tournament. Like, their previous series against Polar was very, very tight, very contested for the most part. This is honestly not even close. Like, the first 15 minutes, it's tough. Like, it is not even, it's like they're on a whole other level.
I really agree with you, though. I think this support Nyx is the biggest problem.
Yep.
I mean, there's a number of problems, but the support Nyx is, here we see possible glimpse attempt onto. It's not very far, actually. Kind of used it a little bit too
look
quickly.
at FNG dying to these illusions. These aren't even Metaform. They got him.
Oh, God. This might be the shortest game we've seen all tournament, honestly.
I think so. I don't know what they can do. He's not even level 6 yet.
Oh, here comes Mushi.
And unable to track them down. They're just going to shut. They're almost out of towers, man. Every single tier 1 is still standing right now for LV. This is, without a doubt, the most dominant performance we've seen from any team in any context here live in Vegas.
Well, the EG-LV one was close, or game 2, with the Chen pick, but...
that one got away from him. This one has just been pure domination.
Yeah, there's been no glimmer of hope, honestly, for VP Polar.
Exactly. I felt like the one you're discussing, it just felt like it got away a bit. You know, got a little out of hand. This one, from the lanes to... It's been really well played. I mean, we can only say the same thing so many ways. We'll let the graphs talk for us. How about a 5-digit gold lead at 16.5 minutes in?
Yeah, that's insane. Like, they have no towers. Anti-Mage, once they keep pressuring his lane as well, and they start pushing their safe lane, that tier 2 tower up there, where is he going to farm? He's got nowhere to go. There's no towers. There's no space for him. He can't fight. He's too weak. That's just the nature of the hero. Whereas TB, total opposite. And this is why, you know, it's funny that we haven't seen TB a lot. I think it's a very strong hero. I know it's very well run in the Chinese and the Eastern scene. Same thing goes with the Elder Titan. I would love to see more of that hero, but you know, we'll have to see maybe in the next game if one of them wants to draft that.
Oh, Illidan. Oh, you
God.
poor man. They were on the hunt, and he brought the hunt to them.
Oh, God.
7-1. Illidan dies yet again, and he is still looking for anything past the Battle Fury. He has every bit of a Band of Elven skin to his name. And I don't even know where you begin to shore this up, because, I mean, Illidan's your big hope. And I guess now your Nyx is level 6, but your Nyx is level 6 while the rest of your team is under-leveled by everything. Like, your Puck is level 9.
Well, your Rubik has more farm than the Juggernaut as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's actually got exactly the same amount of net worth. And Puck did just pick up his Blink, so I guess that's one glimmer of hope here for VP Polar. Speaking of Puck, he might get initiated on here actually by the Bat Rider.
Got
Takes
him.
it out, easy peasy kill. Just picked up his Blink, not going to be able to use it here.
Yeah, he did get off the coil. He's going to end up dead regardless. Illidan does come in and get a kill, however. The damage output is tremendous. Static Storm caught no one. Kinetic Field whipped.
Bye-bye, Mag.
Bye-bye. The Kinetic Field just whipped. There's a lift on the Demon. FNG's next on the list. Hit a nice two-man impale, best of the game, but he does get a nice kill onto the Terror Blade. But too little, too late comes to mind. Illidan is back in the base, healing up, does have a Yasha. But this is going to be an easy tower, and they are just going to ride this as long as they can. And I don't know the Polar's going to have what it takes to derail the card.
Yep, and Mushi has his Battle Fury if he wants. He can throw another Remnant, TP, grab the Battle Fury, go back up the top, start farming out the enemy jungle, and keeping more pressure onto the AM and just, you know, diminishing his space. So, yeah, it was so close too. ZYF almost able to get that Sunder off. Just a little bit more of that animation, he would have had it, but couldn't get it. So, would have been a disaster if he did. And it's still a disaster even if he didn't. He's more from the anti-mage. Everyone else on the LV side, still no towers up, or down I should say, for VP Polar.
I love anti-mage with a haste rune. He does the anime kid run. And he's going to find ZYF here in the jungle. And he actually puts a scare on him a little bit, but the help was there as Ohio rotated through. And looks like they want to try to do something with FNGs. Finally getting a little bit of use out of Vendetta. And let's see if we can find anybody. He's got a little help behind him. But nope, just going to have to back off, and wisely so. Very prescient Sentry Ward drop by Inflame there.
Yep, in the meantime, the Ember Spirit's just farming up top. Like I said, he just got his Battle Fury. This is a smart thing. Whenever you know you're ahead with heroes like this that can escape easily, or like a Tinker, you want to pressure the safe lane of the enemy team, especially when it's a hero like Anti-Mage, because with no towers down, where does he farm? He can only poke in for a couple times, but if the jungle is already dead, like look at that camp is dead, there's another camp that's dead, and of course they're respawning now after the even minute, but the point still stands. He's having a more difficult time to farm.
We're 20 minutes in, and LV looks like if they can keep this rolling, they're going to be one game away from winning our championship. The net worth and the experience just continue to climb higher and higher, so they're not going to be able to out-farm them. They're going to have to find some way to dig deep, outmaneuver them, take some kind of a win wherever they can. And it looks like they're thinking about Roshan now, and why wouldn't they? Their damage output is certainly high enough, and it's going to be almost impossible for VP, barring a beautiful 3-4-man coil waning rift, to even begin a fight, especially if Ohio's in good position, which he is.
Roshan is going to die so fast, too. And the great thing is he can just take damage. He's going to use it to maybe tank. Oh, no, they triggered the stomp, which kind of sucks. Here we go. Possible fight. Do they have a sentry down? I don't think they do.
There we go. They got him. CYF's going to end up dropping.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's a big misplay. There's going to be a glimpse bringing back DDC. He's going to end up dead. Got off the Ice Blast. I don't know if it's going to matter. And Ohio allowed his Firefly to wear off on top. And he didn't even get involved. He's going to flame break down. They're trying to just wear them out a little bit here. They're going to go right after him. He had to know that was coming. Searing Chains caught a couple. And Ohio
might be able to steal this. Nope.
Tried to go for it. Illidan does manage to grab it. And that's going to be another down. They're going to end up getting Mag as well. Beautiful double kill from Mushi with the Searing Chains that time. Inflame uses the lift and manages to steal. He actually just blinked right on top of him. But, and this is obnoxious. whenever you get a Rubik like this. But that's a win. It's a step in the right direction for Polar. Didn't come without some sort of cost, but like you said, that was maybe just a little bit of hubris showing that time, as they weren't really in a position to contest that. They didn't have a sentry down. Actually, they did.
Yeah, I was wondering if they just placed it like after the initiation, but I think it was up. I think it was up. Just they had the sentry, but they didn't actually have the vision outside because they were all inside the Roche pit. And they needed someone standing out, really. They honestly did. They just got a little bit careless.
Well, they made a bit of a bizarre decision to allow the Terrorblade to face tank. I mean, a Terrorblade's not built tanky yet. Well, I guess he's got 2 ultimate orbs. But he faced tank Roshan, and he got down to about a quarter health, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then they just jumped in and said, oh, okay, you're almost dead. Kaboom. And blew him up. And he wasn't even a part of that fight.
Yeah, I think it's just simply they needed someone standing outside the pit. They should have known that the Nyx is going to walk in with a Vendetta. Speaking of Nyx.
Lift on the Phobos. Done. And here we go on the other side. CYF in trouble again. And this is a good kinetic field static storm this time. Manta's an hello. That one hurts a bit. FNG punished. You have to drop him during the duration of the silence. Otherwise, Sunder will ruin your entire night. And I think it's fair to say that's what happened that time.
Yeah, and what he did was, it may look like not a big deal, but he waited until the very last second to use his Manta. He knew he would come up outside of the duration of the silence from Disruptor's ulti by the time he had his Sunder ready. But he saved his Manta just to create a tiny little bit more confusion so they didn't have auto attacks ready after he came out of that. And Sheldon gets a nice kill, ending the streak of Mushi.
Yeah, 464 gold into his pocket. In the meantime, they lose their last remaining outer tier tower. And ZYF did finish his Scotty, by the way. So how about ridiculous farm on both he and Illidan. Illidan is keeping pace, which is impressive in and of itself. I mean, Andy Mage renowned, of course, for his farming speed. Terrorblade's one of the few that can hang with him just because of his proficiency at pushing towers with illusions, or not pushing towers necessarily, but pushing out lanes, taking farm wherever he can, and so long as he's mobile. There's a basher done on Illidan, so he has gotten over the hump. I think it's safe to say that. It's just going to come down. I feel like VP has bought themselves time. The gold and the experience still certainly in favor of LV, but that window of opportunity LV had where they could have potentially closed the game out has closed. Illidan is now a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and here comes the smoke, actually. They're pinging it out
it
like crazy.
Oh, he walks up a Carapaces right into the Firefly trail. They're going to get FNG from behind with CYF, though. Behind that, there's going to be a reinitiation. They are going to be able to bring down Puck, and just kind of a mess of an initiation that time. Didn't seem like they had a game plan going in, and they lose 2 because of it.
Here comes Anti-Mage jumping onto the store, jumping onto Illidan, or sorry.
No mana. ZYF in trouble, tries to get away, but his boy's right there, and they're going to get the Aegis. Inflame has Coil. And is he going to spend it? Oh, a little bit of lag. Yeah, I guess he did. So Illidan now locked down. So unfortunate time to see lag there, but the Coil did help hold him in place. And did help them clean him up for the second time. And they get Demon from behind. There's the glimpse, but it's not going to matter. Did him a favor, basically. 20-8. And Illidan, who had just gotten himself going, now finds himself down for the count. He has no buyback. And this is probably at least 1 set of racks.
Yeah, not too good for Illidan. As the damage output was very, very real onto the Terrorblade. I couldn't say the name for some reason, but he had no mana, and he's banking 1,300. Here comes
Lasso on
Lasso.
FNG.
Yep.
Inflame, he actually missed on the impale on him. FNG's dead. And he didn't even kill Inflame. He basically just tried to give his body to kill the Rubik, and unable to do so. Finally, a decent item's up on Jug. He gets his Scepter, but 26 minutes in this situation, probably a bit late. Demon's going to come in. Doesn't have a Static Storm, does have a Kinetic Field, but all that's going to do is him in a whole lot of damage illusions right in range of those racks. Tier 3 down, melee racks down, Illidan up, and they can't fight. I don't think they should pursue this. This could blow up in their face. There's actually going to be a Coil behind it. They are going to get one with it. Ohio, though, is ready. Doesn't have a lasso, though. Behind that, Illidan locked down for the moment. There's an Omni Slash with that Scepter. Doesn't accomplish a lot. In fact...
Oh, he got the Omni Slash!
Oh, he's... And the damage output coming out of ZYF is just too tremendous. Phobos tracked down, and FNG, do they have any detection? Illidan's going to come, and he did manage to get the Terrorblade on the back of a big Mana Void. Ends up being a 2-for-2. Glimpse back into the Static Storm, but able to make it out. Illidan trying to guess where he's going to be. Force staff. It gives him a little bit of room. He's going to try to double back on him. He doesn't have the mana. He doesn't have the mana. He's got to run it. He's got a drum charge. And there's Ohio to help him out. Using the sticky napalm, he's going to slide a fist. There's a glimpse back. And there's Illidan right to meet him in the ring. So Polar down, but not out. Refused to be kicked after losing the racks, and LV overstays their welcome.
Yeah, nice movement there by Mushi, and it was almost close. He did have a remnant back towards where Illidan was just farming, but I think he had like 130 mana or something. It cost 150. It was very, very close. BKB up onto the Batrider, no glimpse shenanigans against him. And yeah, he had, I counted, 3 HP left on the Rubik, stole the Omni Slash, and actually killed the Juggernaut before he died. It was a hell of a play from Inflame.
Oh, gigantic. Well, this game continues to roll on. It was in real danger of critical mass not long ago. But VP refuses to lose, refuses to be counted out. And Illidan, again, so long as he's in the right position, so long as he's not jumped, they have so many things to combo in bringing him down and locking him down. If they can avoid that for him, he is very, very deadly. And he is really, really detrimental to heroes, in particular, like the Ember Spirit and like Terrorblade, it's worth mentioning. I mean, he's got a decent amount of mana now that he has his Scotty done. But, you know, Terrorblade really relies on Sunder in a lot of cases if you do get on top of him. Now there's an Abyssal Blade up on Illidan, so he's going to have at least one dedicated way to lock down the TB or the Ember if he needs to.
I wonder if Jimmy just learned that you can use Glimpse to just instantly kill illusions. Because I didn't see him do it too much at all. I just saw him do it just there, but it's very good against illusion-based heroes. It's a low cooldown. Well, not the lowest in the world, but it's 18 seconds. Not too bad. And killing these illusions any way you can instantly is obviously a very, very good way to start out any kind of engagement. But, I mean, it's still obviously a big problem, but we'll see if we can keep doing that.
Let's take a look at who's done well. 8-3 for Mushi, 7-3 for ZYF, 5-2 on Ohio. 3 deaths for Illidan, a little high, but has got 5 kills to go with it, then a grab bag after that. It looks like LV not wanting to drag this game on any longer. They don't want to give Illidan any more time to hit creeps. They're setting up shop outside of the Tier 3 bottom. In the meantime, Illidan finally takes the Tier 1. It's been a while since we saw a tower go down on the other side. And Demon throws out the kinetic field, trying to just create a mess here. Not that it's going to matter that much. The damage output is so high from Terrorblade. Here we go. Ohio has FNG. That's the target they want to prioritize. They get him very easily. BKB will be wearing off in a moment, but they're zoning him out for now. Illidan lands in. Tier 3 is down. Let's see how they want to engage us. Illidan is going to go right in. BKB is going to be used by ZYF. Turning this around. Look at the damage output. Just melting him down. Healing Ward is there. They're going to chase him back. He got the lift off. There's going to be DK Phobos coming back in, but ZYF just continuing to peck away. Mag's going to take a spill. Phobos is next. Demon standing all on his own. The coil did go off, but to no avail. This is 2 racks down, 3 heroes down, and it looks like it could be 2 games down for Polar, unless a miracle occurs as this lead with 2 racks down with a Terrorblade. I don't know how they overcome it.
I don't know. It's very difficult. I don't know if Illidan's back is strong enough to really weather the storm here with 4 racks down. He's just not going to have the amount of farm he can get. He has to stick to one lane that has regular amounts of bounty for all the creeps. Mid and bottom are not going to give him the gold sufficient to kind of bring this one back, even though he is still top net worth, which is the funny thing, but no one else to really help him out. The Juggernaut ulti is okay. The damage is not really coming out from Puck. It's more about the control, but they don't have enough damage to really take on all of these heroes. Maybe one, but not the rest of them. If they do everything on the Ember, they're not going to have enough for the Terrorblade and vice versa.
Well, Ember could be in trouble. Illidan's got an invis, and he's going to sneak right up on him.
He has an Abyssal.
Yep. He saw where he went.
Abyssal Manta ulti. Yep.
Yep, dead. So you see the damage output he has when he gets the jump. Situations like that just don't happen nearly enough for VP and their fans.
Yeah, I mean, he did the same thing against EG. It's a ton of damage. And once you can isolate one hero, no matter who it is, they pretty much die. Like even the Terrorblade would.
Oh, yeah. Scotty helps. I mean, at least he's a little more well-rounded. He does have a BKB, as we mentioned. He is going Butterfly. Butterfly going to be a bit confounding. Although Illidan, just the way he farms, he's going to have an MKB like in 20 seconds or something, like ridiculous. That's just how he is.
Yeah.
He's already got 3,500 gold towards it anyway, so only needs about another 1,800, give or take. Roche is up. We see it beginning to get some attention from teams. FNG is going to face check it.
Yeah, and if he did find the Terrorblade by himself, kind of like Ember, the only difference he has to make is he just waits a little bit to use the Abyssal. Tries to attack him a little bit with the Manta, gets him down to half HP, then uses the Abyssal. Because if you drain a lot of his mana, it's going to do a huge damage ulti from that Mana Void. He's got 1,400 mana, so that's a ton of damage. And there is the AA Scepter. He's actually shooting it towards Roche, not going to find anything. It's actually almost level 16 as a result of this Midas as well. And look at that, he's only died one time this game.
This is actually really chancy on both sides. It looks like there's a lot of pinging. Yeah, they had their smoke pop from that, I do believe. They were in proximity up on the high ground. FNG, once again, with Vendetta off cooldown, is level 2. He found his level 13. That helps a ton. And Illidan's just going to get the hell out.
So close. The Bat Rider was right on his tail. Almost found him, but just not in time.
We'll see how LV wants to proceed. Top lane sufficiently shoved. They could just run and look to take the Ancient if they want to just push down bottom and run right at the tier 4s. Roche, of course, still there for the taking. Hard for me to imagine they wouldn't try that first. FNG has his Vendetta expire right now, so he's got to play hide and seek. But ZYF right there, face tanking Roshan again this time, and they need to get him down a little quicker. We are going to see a reaction for sure. FNG will have Vendetta up in 12 seconds, and they're sitting the Remnant up. Courier, he may snipe the Courier here. Yep, he's trying to anyway. Insert a lasso. Managed to get Illidan of all targets. He's drugged down to the low ground. They're going to try to engage, but here comes FNG trying to make something happen behind that. We see the battle raging up. There's an Omni Slash from Mag. Doesn't accomplish anything. He just dies for free. FNG right on top of Inflame. Inflame actually stole Vendetta. Now Ohio and FNG going back and forth. Up at the top, we've got Illidan, who managed to track down Terrorblade, and now on the tail of Mushi. And there's going to be the Remnant back and away. Only Illidan remains standing, but he did get the big target, ZYF. Illidan, a man amongst enemies, and little optimistic. 1 versus 5, not quite, as he's down, and Polar will secure an easy Roshan off of that. One would think. Are they? Yeah, he's going to teleport home to come back.
Yeah, well, Illidan sure as hell giving it the old college try, man. I mean, this guy is trying his heart out. He actually almost got that Mana Void off onto the Rubik, who was missing pretty much every point of mana there. Rubik did manage to steal the Blink before he went back to base. A very fantastic spell. The Vendetta steal, as you mentioned, was very nice as well. And yeah, so the Terrorblade kill, this is what I'm talking about. You use everything you can to get one. You're just going to die from the rest of them. It's just the farm is spread out much more evenly on the side of LV.
Buybacks beginning to matter. Only Illidan has one for Polar appropriately. And they still haven't taken a shot at Roshan yet. Now they're finally making their way down. Just waiting on ZYF. ZYF not as close to his butterfly as you'd like, but he'll be okay with just the free Aegis.
Yep, definitely. And no contention this time, because it will be rather easy. I'm trying to look at Mushi. What's his HP? He's at a half HP, but yeah, the BKB is certainly helpful for him. He's had that for quite some time. Anti-Mage, it looks like, is that going to be a Lincoln Sphere for him? He's got this ultimate orb just kind of chilling out there. I don't imagine it's going to be something else. Already got the Manta, so yep, and there's the Aegis for ZYF.
Looks like it's the 11th hour for VP Polar. Fresh Aegis up on ZYF. You got to kill him twice. Tough enough as it is. He does have the Talisman of Evasion, so going to be even more complicated this time around. And 35 minutes. It's actually a short game by the standard we've seen in the D2L thus far. But it has been a dominant one. And yeah, basically the last time VP led this game was at about 2 minutes in.
Yeah, it didn't go too well in the laning stage. And we talked about that. It probably, well, we'll have to hold that thought, as this could be the final push of the game, actually. ZYF pops the Manta. Takes a lot of damage, actually, from FNG, but there's the ulti.
Ohio there. Phobos goes in. Got off his abilities, but BKB's a plenty on everyone. And all they have to do is pick their target. Mag's down. Phobos is down. Yeah, his damage output is no joke. And poor Demon's going to burn to death. Behind that, Illidan's trying to man up. and has to blink away. Got hit with the Ice Blast, and the Scotty was slowing him down. And they actually got him with the Searing Chains. It's a double damage that was bottled up beforehand, by the way, for Mushi. Not even fair. It's like having cheat codes.
Yep. And with the AA ulti constantly on him as well.
Good
GG.
game.
Yeah, very, very well played. Dominance from start to finish here from LV Gaming, showing that they can still look this good even without the Lycan. So very nicely drafted, even better played specifically by Mushi and ZYF. And of course, as I mentioned, DDC, I mean the entire cast, DDC I think only one death the entire game on the Ancient Apparition. I'll have to double check on that. Just everyone did their job. Yeah, 2-1 and 21 for the Ancient Apparition.
That's
the amount of farm. The amount of farm this Terrorblade got, what, like a 12-minute Manta with Tread, something like that. It was ridiculous.
Compare that to the awful, awful game DK Phobos had. 0-10-7. 0-10-7 on puck. Blink timing. There's no reason to belabor that point. 1-7 on Mag's Jug. And the Nyx Assassin 3-8-3. And, you know, you can't hang it on one pick, one draft, one hero, one player. But it certainly didn't help having that Nyx really just out of pocket for so long. Unable to really contribute a whole lot to the fight. Illidan fought hard and fought long. 646 GPM. Nearly as high as Terrorblades, despite how lopsided pretty much every other metric I should say, in the game happened to be. He did have the most last hits by about 8,000 degrees. 347 for him. 282 the total for ZYF. But fantastic stuff.